What is up, everyone? This will be my Ekko jungle video, and I'm going to teach you everything you need to know on how to play Ekko jungle. We're going to be playing in Masters rank, and I'm going to be running the Dark Harvest free boots page. I find it to be very strong. Ekko jungle, really strong AP jungler. You just have to make sure you're farming well on him, and you want to be starting W level 1. The percent health damage of this ability just makes it so you can clear the single target camp very quickly. Enemy team invaded me. They probably got wards on me, so I just want to be aware of that. And enemy team is Talon jungle, Braum. They have a bunch of CC, so I'm not sure if I'll go Merc Treads, but I do have to be very careful about being chained CC to death. So W, you want to start W level 1. They already know where I started, so just be cautious about that. He might try to cheese me. You want to W around 127 or, a bit later. And you want to just make sure you're using your auto attacks and just moving between camps. So the goal is to just get this camp below a certain HP, and then you want to smite early. Because once it drops below, I think like 30% HP, you're going to see your passive does bonus magic damage on hit. So very important, very strong. Here you want to Q, auto 1, and just make sure you're proccing your passive and then Wing right afterwards. Your passive is really OP for jungling. It does a lot of bonus damage. So you want to make sure you kind of have that ability and you're thinking about, proccing it quite often because of how much more damage it does. So here you want to make sure your Q is lined up where this area is going to hit and then pull pretty much everything in. And then you want to just kind of pull them back a bit so the passive can kind of proc multiple targets. You're pretty much going to kill this camp on the second Q, so don't worry so much. And then just hit the Q and then just kind of run in a straight line. Your Q does two parts. It, throws it forward and then it comes back to where Ekko is. So always remember that it's going to be going back to you. Here you want to auto Q and then kind of kite a bit between Qs, just so you can kind of line up the camp a bit better. Again, I just want to be careful of the Talon. If he tries to cheese me, something like that, can be a bit careful. So here I see he's actually here. Usually I would W there, but in this situation, we're not actually going to go. And I mean, MF wanted to try to protect Talon. Very respectable for her to protect her man, but very foolish of her at the same time. Important mechanics on him is, you could just EW to kind of hide the animation. The Q effect is really straightforward. You want to make sure you hit them with the Q. It's pretty much your only sort of CC ability as well. Here, your smite, when it gets low, is really good for kind of bursting jungle camp specifically. And overall, that's really good for me. 2 kills. I'm pretty happy with that situation. Once you can get on top of someone with your E, sometimes you want to flash and then you're pretty much in range to get them. That's really important because once you get on top of them with your E effect, you can slow them with the Q. You can just kind of beat them down with auto attacks, and then that's where you're going to be able to proc your passive. Passive gives you 50% insane amounts of movement speed only when you're using it on champions, right? So once you proc your passive, you're going to become jolted and you're going to run really fast. So utilize the move speed. If you can get on them, you proc your passive, you kite. That's where you're going to be getting a lot of value. So build wise, Lichbane is just very OP. I like to go Dark Seal here and, just Pink Ward plus Sweeper. Next patch, Lichbane, a lot of AP items are getting a little bit of changes. Lichbane is going to be really good. So that's why I think Ekko jungle is going to be a really OP AP jungler that I, advise you to play, or, if it's something you're interested in, it may be a very great pick for you to kind of learn. So EQ, you always want to Q, kind of have to look at the range on your Q because it has like a throw out range. So you want to kind of get in the throw out range, and then the pullback is going to do the rest of the work. E is an auto attack reset, so you can always just auto then E. There are some more mechanics that are more, determined towards the how he kind of operates with, Protobelt. You can get like an extra auto attack reset and stuff like that, but I'll talk about that more later. Just make sure your Q is getting the return damage as well. The return damage does more than the throw, right? So you're trying to throw it, hit them with it to slow, and then get behind them so it pulls behind. Here you just want EW as a combo. It kind of disguises it so you don't see the animation as well. You can EQ really quickly too. That's a lot of your combos are going to be around your E. Your E is going to be everything about your champion. You're queuing them, you're Eing them, and then the ultimate's going to make things a lot more, interesting as well. So if I want to go for a gank, you're not the best ganker. Ekko is not a great ganker. You just have, very good, possible ganks if the enemy team is kind of trolling. Here, auto attack, keep autoing them. Your abilities are down, just keep autoing. You do a lot of damage with your autos, so remember that. I could technically do like a dragon here. Why? Because I have so much free time. It can be risky though, so you want to think about, you know, can anyone come here? But Talon's topside, so I'm just going to smite and start the dragon. So I like to pull the dragon out, always sort of pull it out on majority of champions, because if someone shows up, you can kind of easily get out of danger because of that. The only reason I smited, by the way, because I have my second smite coming up soon. If you have 2 smites pretty much, or another smite coming up soon, you want to smite early on these dragons just because it's going to take at least like 20 seconds to kill. Boom. So good dragon because, well, bot lane died. Most importantly, though, I saw Talon top side. Sometimes you're not going to see Talon, but sometimes I just have a hunch that, you know, he's probably not here. Or if he is here, he probably doesn't have wards on me. But sometimes that can be risky too, so I don't advise you unless you know where the enemy jungler like that is. So here I have a really good base timer too if I wanted to. I could stay for maybe a potential kill on bot side. Enemy bot lane is trying to proxy sort of thing. I can actually set up something here. You remember the Q slow. I do have my ultimate. Oh my god, Thresh. The hook master right there. You know, just very cleanly done. Very straightforward. Do I want to kill a ward? Honestly, no. Don't waste your time. I have free boots coming up, so I usually just, you know, chill on my items. I just itemize well here. I mean, Sheen. You want to just get the Wisp item. Usually the Sheen is the last component you want to buy. And your ultimate straightforward. It just ulties or reverses time where you were. So you see this yellow icon. It's always going to be, you know, 3 seconds behind you. So it does insane amounts of damage, but it's not reliable to kind of get the damage. Here I'm going to wait a bit. And then I'm going to go in because I can kind of hit the combo now. So here I know he's kind of going the other way. So I can kind of play around that information. I'm probably going to chase him here just because he's probably going to wait and be like, oh, I'm going to wait to reset aggro or something. And then I can kind of swoop in here for the kill. Damn, he actually executed. That's so sad. But yeah, you want to get the stun on your W. If you can get the stun on W, it's just really, really strong. And it's easy for people to kind of walk out. It has a delay, so when you throw it out, people are going to be like, okay, you know, Ekko W, let me walk out of it. But it does slow, so if you literally hit people with it, it's going to slow them, so it's going to be harder for them to get out. Here I'm going to smite early because I know, you know, people are dead. Talon died. Plus he has no ulti, so realistically he shouldn't really be here. So here you want to just kind of get procs off your passive. And if things are dangerous, you can just leave pretty much. This Silas, man. I should just procced faster on him. I could have killed him. Maokai. Okay, things are getting really spicy here. I think Thresh can help though. Beat lanterns here. I mean, these disgusting champions coming in that position. I mean, they're going to lose the fight. Why? Because Talon has no flash. He's a bit of a useless champion without that ability. And your boy is just a little sad because of the situation. So here I'm going to go back and farm. Remember, we are like a powerful jungler. We are a farming jungler. We are pretty much a god scaler. So we don't really want to have... We don't really want to force like we have to be fighting all the time. Like we scale so hard, we just have to play around our champion. Here MF is playing kind of cocky, so what I'm gonna do is just gonna kill her. So here, this is a lot of times what you're gonna be looking for. So how do I W someone like this? You want to hit it, you know, where they're going to be. So here I know, you know, MF wants to go that way, and here I'm just gonna keep kiting. She's quite weak, so I do have ulti in case I think she's gonna burst me down, and then I can just ulti afterwards. Because I'm kind of low, I don't have my Lichbane, my damage is actually not as high without hitting your, you know, specific abilities. Here I'm just going to W a bit early in case someone's in this brush. And then I'm going to finish the crap. You're really not as, you know, burst heavy until you get the Lichbane, which I'm going to get right after this buy. So what do I want to do is just get my Gromp so I can actually have it. Your ultimate... It's hard to really guarantee the damage of it. So think about it as like, I'm going to go backwards and try to get, you know, it's your get out of jail card. So a lot of times what's going to be an issue for you is people are going to try to burst you or CC you before you can ultimate, right? So very important to know and think about that stuff, right? Like, it's going to be game breaking to play this champion. This comp is a lot of crowd control, but realistically, the only one that's guaranteed is Renekton W and the 4th stack of Bromstone. So if I have Brom passive on me, I'm probably going to think a bit about, you know, maybe kiting a little bit and thinking about that. This game, I don't think I'm going to do Krug because Dragon is up. My bot lane is really strong. So how do you win games in solo queue? Well, you got to play where you're really strong. If I'm really strong bot side, somehow they die, there's going to be a good chance that we can make some plays happen and stuff will go well for us. Block the passive, auto, try to hit him with the passive as well. And then very nicely done. Mid lane, we're not the strongest, but you know, if I'm counter ganking that W proc, right, it's a bit of a doozy. People aren't really prepared for that. Here they're playing up, same thing. Do I want a W? Probably W. So what you want to do is W for vision, because it's going to be really important. And then once I hit this, and then boom, dodge that, hit him with that passive. Passive. Every time you proc passive, remember, you're just... Passive movement speed is just helping dramatically for you. So the movement speed effect is going to make you just like speedy, super fast, uncatchable, right? So really hit this passive, get in the habit of just, you know, looking for these passive procs. You can hit the passive, a lot of times you can like run out, kite, and look for another set of cooldowns. But your game revolves completely around hitting these passive hits. I actually think Ekko is going to be broken next patch. I think a lot of champs who built Lichbane are going to be really happy because next patch, the Lichbane build path isn't going to be, you know, so difficult. It's going to have a much easier build path. You're not going to have this item. It's going to be cheaper for like 200 gold, which, I mean, that's just huge, right? For second item, it's really because Protobelt's getting buffed. I'm going to show you guys Protobelt, and Protobelt generally isn't that, you know, it's a decent item. So Protobelt's getting buffed next patch. Who knows? Maybe it's first item, but I think Lichbane into Protobelt's going to be the build. So I just want to show you guys this build. You can go Shadow Flame too if, you know, enemy team is like really no tanks. You get some benefits. So he just finished it. So what we're going to do is... boom. W will give you the shield, right? So W, if you just go inside your W, it procs the stun. And if you proc the stun of it anytime, it will give you the shield, right? So the W doesn't do anything. It just slows and does the AoE effect. And then once you kind of go in it, that's when the stun procs. So you have to go in it within like 2 seconds. And that's just going to give you a lot of power. My Lichbane build is really strong. And you can see like I was kind of playing around with my ultimate. Your ulti heals a lot more if you're getting like a lot of damage within a few seconds. But realistically, you know, once I feel like, okay, this guy I'm getting quite low, he's going to burst me down, then I'm looking for the ulti. If you're standing still and you're both fighting auto for auto, eventually your ultimate clone is going to be on top of you. And you can just press ulti to press it to just like do a lot of damage, right? If you can hit people with it, you pretty much win a lot of fights because of how powerful it is. Here, I'm just going to, you know, E in, just check to see if there's like a talent here. You know, if he's not here, he might be bot side. He might be coming this way. I'm just going to drop a ward here too. Wait a bit. Could be on Raptors. Pathing down. I'm just kind of chilling right now. He doesn't show up. Well, let's just do the jungle right now. We have really good vision, so we can kind of set up a trap here for someone. A lot of times you can set up like a little, you know, kind of like angle over walls. Damn, she flashed. If I get the auto off, I can just get out. I still have ultimate, right? Oh my god, I might have needed ulti. Okay, maybe I'm trolling that. Sometimes you can ulti backwards to potentially hit the person who you want to kill. Generally, don't play for that. Don't go for like dives past 2 towers there. Just play for, you know, play for simply farming, getting your objectives, getting as much gold as possible, and just playing carefully. You don't have to do anything crazy like that. Unnecessary. Unnecessary roughness. Minus 50 points, Inori. We got to keep that down. We don't want to be overly doing it, even though the plays are looking real nice. But our damage is really high, but we also are really squishy. And there's no reason not to just be AFK farming. This meta, I mean, you see a lot of my videos, I talk about it. You know, it's just a heavy farm meta. You want to really emphasize on all that farming. And heavily, you know, taking advantage of that. Here, I mean, you know, Silas is trying to fight. Well, let me just go kill him then. Then me red is up too, so I just kind of have a red buff that I can steal. There, I mean, my E is a dash, right? And then once you dash, your next auto is like a pretty much a range auto. It's a teleport right after. So easy peasy. I don't know what happened, but I guess they gave up. Generally, the build later would be like Death Cap, Void Staff. But yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. Be sure to like, subscribe if you haven't already. That's my Ekko jungle. I'll probably make more videos too in the future because I think he's really good. It was a Masters game. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.